Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's talk. Today, I'm extremely delighted to be introducing to you a former student of the MA program who is now working in the world of editorial using her language skills, Ms. Tonia Yang, and she was in CUHK doing the MA in translation a number of years ago, and since then she has joined academic editing, and she's going to share with you all some information about that particular industry. And I think this will be useful for us, those of you who maybe want to use your language skills but don't want to become translators per se. You can think about this particular line of work. So without further ado, let me please introduce Ms. Tonia Yang.
Okay, thanks a lot for Professor Duncan Popper for introducing me. Actually, I also prepared a brief self-introduction and to let you know more about me. My name is Tonia Yang, and my Chinese name is Yang Zitong. So after graduating from the Chinese University of Hong Kong with an MA in translation, and after that, I became a research assistant in the CUHK. And when I finished my research assistant work, I joined MDPI Open Access Publishing as an assistant editor from then. And now I'm the deputy section leader of the section Material Sciences of MDPI. And also I am a chief section managing editor of the journal Coatings, which is indexed with SCIE database. And to start up, I would like to mention that the company, the publishing company, MDPI, has a lot of communication and collaboration with CUHK. And in the past 5 years, there were more than 1,700 CUHK papers published with MDPI. And among all of them, maybe most of them are scientific papers. And notably, we see that here there is a paper from languages, which was cited by 92 times. It is very impressive. And this one is related to the usage of ChatGPT for language learning tasks. So it is also related to our daily study about language. And today I would like to separate my talk into these 5 parts. First of all, introduction of open access publishing, and then the introduction of MDPI and also the MDPI editorial procedure. And also in the 4th part, I would like to share some of my work content as an editor. And the 5th part will be the introduction of the MDPI global offices, including the Hong Kong office here. So to start up, I would like to talk about some concepts about open access publishing. Well, in this page, we can see some basic entities and concepts in academic publishing. So to start up, I would like to say that there are a lot of publishers all over the world, and up to this year, there are more than 16,000 publishers all over the world. And the top 10 publishers account for more than half of the total publications. So among them, MDPI now ranks the 3rd one among all the publishers and the biggest open access publisher. And we have the collaboration with the researchers and also the institute, no matter they are the authors or readers, editors, reviewers, academic editors, or publishers of the journals. And there are 2 modes of publication in all the journals. One is the very traditional way is the subscription mode, which means that the readers pay to read and the authors are free to publish. And if you publish with this kind of mode, the copyright will be transferred to publishers instead of being held by the authors. And in terms of the open access mode, it is free for the readers. So anybody can read your paper for free, but the authors should pay for the APC, which means article processing charge, to get your paper published. But the copyright in this mode will be retained by the authors, so the authors can freely cite their own papers and reuse their data in their other publications. And here it is the definition of open access from the Berlin Declaration on Open Access to Knowledge in the Science and Humanities. So as I just mentioned, that open access, it is free and is available for the public. So any of the user can read it, download it, copy, distribute, print, search, or link to the full text without any restriction. And here in this page, I listed some of the advantages of open access. Well, the first is that the authors will retain the copyright of their own publications, and there will be unlimited distribution and potentially more citations because anybody can see your paper and cite your paper freely. And so that the developing countries really have access to so many separate subscription journals. It is not like what we do in CUHK that we have the library who subscribe all the journals so we can access to them freely. But for most of the countries in the developing area, they do not have so many chances to have access to the journals. So that is also an advantage of open access. And also very few institutions have access to all the subscription journals, especially for like the hospitals, the government agencies, private doctors, because they need to pay a lot to subscribe to this kind of journals. And also with the open access, we can avoid duplicate studies. So you can view all the studies in your field without any restriction. So you can do something novel. And in this part, I would like to introduce our company, MDPI Open Access. Well, up to today, we have almost 30 years of experience of running open access journals, open access publishing. And now we have 463 journals, including more than 300 journals indexed in Scopus and 302 journals indexed in Web of Science. And up to now, we have already 6,700 employees. And as a pioneer of academic open access publishing, as I just mentioned, that now we are the number 3 publisher overall over all kinds of publications and the number 1 among the open access publishers. And the head office of MDPI is located in Basel, Switzerland. And in all around the world, we are located in 12 countries, and now we have 21 offices all over the world. And in this year, we just started up the Hong Kong office. So if you were interested, you can also apply for the positions in the Hong Kong office and also other offices. So here in this figure, you can see that the biggest one is Elsevier, Springer Nature, and two of them are both subscription mode, and also they are adapting some open access mode as well. And the third one would be MDPI, which is a totally open access publishing house. And up to now, we have 92 journals indexed by SCIE, which is also SCI that we are commonly saying. And we also have some many journals indexed in the scope-specific databases, such as like PMC, PubMed, and for the other databases, especially for like some medical-related journals. And we have a lot of different services apart from just the publishing papers. We have also preprint, which is a platform for posting early-stage research before peer review. And also we have MDPI books, which means that if we have more than 10 papers published in a certain field, which we call special issue, we can make it a print book. And for this, SCI Profiles is a free scholarly literature database. So every scholar can update their profile and also their publications, their patent, their research on this platform. And the preceding series is for open access conferences. So we can have the cooperation with the conference hosts and establish proceedings of this certain conference. And this SciLit is an innovational, like connecting the scholars, and also provides a database for all of the publications, especially related to open access publications. And for the author services, we provide professional language editing services. We have a very mature language editing team who are the English editing team from they are all native speakers, so they can do the professional language editing perfectly. And the SCI Forum is for scholarly exchange and collaboration. For example, they can hold a webinar or the online discussion about a certain field on this SCI Forum platform. And the GEMS journal and article management system, it is for some institute or universities if they want to run their own journal, and we can provide this submission system for them to run their own journal. And we also have a institutional open access program in which we have the collaboration with the universities all over the world. We have Tsinghua University and also Harvard University and the University of Tokyo and so on. And they are all members of our IOAP project. So through this project, the institute can pay a one-time yearly fee for their corresponding authors to publish. So the authors themselves do not need to pay the article processing charge. And so in this way, we are encouraging more scholars to get involved with our open access publishing mode. And in this part, which is also, I think, the most important, is about editorial procedure. So to start up, I would like to show you this whole page of the whole editorial procedure from the very beginning. When you submit a paper, and it will go through the technical pre-check first by the editorial office. So the editors will check if the paper meets the requirements of the journal, such as the reputation rate and also the author's background, if you have any ethical cases or retraction record before. So all of this will be checked by the editorial office. And then if it passed the technical pre-check, it will go through the editorial pre-check by the editorial board members who are the expert in this field and in collaboration with the journal as an editorial board member. So if the paper passed the editorial pre-check, it will go through the peer review process, which is also sometimes the most time-consuming part. And normally we will collect 2 valid reports from the reviewers and then send the reports to the authors for revision. Once they have revised the manuscript and their revised version meets the requirements of the reviewers, we will send the final version to the editor to make a final decision on the paper, whether it should be rejected or accepted. So if the paper is successfully accepted by the editor of the editorial board, we will send it to acceptance, and also our in-house editors will do the proofreading work, like copy editing, English editing, proofreading, and so on. So finally, this paper will be done as a whole PDF file and published online finally. So in this whole procedure of processing a paper, it requires 2 kinds of abilities. One is for paper reviewing ability, and the other is for proofreading ability as an in-house editor. So for the first part, paper reviewing ability, it requires the editors, first of all, you need to check if the paper has like some problems about high reputation rate, and you also need to rapidly grasp the keyword and the key topic of the paper you are processing. For example, you receive a paper, you can read the introduction of it and the keywords of it, and also extract the keywords from the references they used. And also we need to correctly choose who will be the most suitable reviewer matching the manuscript you are processing. And also we need to control the quality of the peer review reports. We know that with the usage of AI tools, some of the peer reviewers may sometimes use the AI to help them prepare the peer review reports. And it is also the in-house editor's duty that we need to check if the peer review report is valid enough. It is carefully prepared by the peer reviewers. And in terms of the paper layout, well, we have a standard paper layout format, And so this part will also be done by your, we will have a tutor to teach you how to do the layout according to the MDPI standard. And also we need to solve the copyright issues with the communication with the authors. If they cited the paper from a subscription mode journal, we need to obtain the copyright from the publisher. And to solve some ethics in scientific publication, especially for like medical issues, if there is any information from the patients and so on. And also communication with external scholars, including the authors, the reviewers, and also the editorial board members, so that we can guarantee a very successful paper publishing process. So this paper can be published at the end. So in terms of every single step in the whole procedure, like I just mentioned, the pre-check part, it contains two parts, and one is done by the in-house editor. It's called technical pre-check, and the other is editorial pre-check. One is for like the overall suitability of the manuscript, and the other editorial pre-check is to maintain, is to fully make sure that the paper is suitable to be processed in the peer review process. And the pre-check has generally three kinds of results from it. One is to ask the authors to revise their paper before the peer review, and the other is continue to peer review directly. And the most unfortunate situation would be to be desk rejected in the pre-check. And about peer review, in MDPI, we adapt the single blind mode of peer review, which means that the authors does not know about the identity of the reviewers, but the reviewers will know who the authors are. And we also support the open peer review option, but it depends on the author's decision for sure. And the authors can choose if they want to open their peer review to the authors, to the readers, so the readers can not only read their manuscript, but also the whole peer review process, the reports and their response to the peer reviewers. And as for the reviewers, we also have very specific requirements for the reviewers. They must have a PhD degree and the relevant background, and also good publication record without the ethic issues like rejections or bad publication records and so on. And of course, there's no conflict of interest with the authors. For example, they are not from the same affiliation, and they worked together on another publication before. We will avoid this kind of things. And normally we collect 2 or 3 scientifically valid reports. And the review time is almost around 2 weeks. And here comes the author revision and the revised version peer review process. And there are generally these 2 types of revision. One is minor revision and the other is major revision. Normally we will give the authors 5 to 10 days to make the revision, but it also depends on the situation of the paper and also the author's availability if they can finish the revision in this period of time. If it is needed, we will also extend the revision time. And for the authors, it is suggested that we will recommend the authors to revise the paper with track changes and point-to-point response to the reviewers, so they can clearly find out what you have revised and what they cannot do currently to improve the paper. And in the revised version peer review, by default, the reviewers who request a major revision or recommend rejection will need to revise the paper again because they pointed out some major problems in the paper. So we will ask this reviewer to review the revised version again to see if the authors have made the corresponding revisions. And for the reviewer reports collected, just the same as the last page, at least 2 valid reports. And now we come to the final decision stage. And for this stage, we also have different decision types. The first one, which is the most successful one, is accepting current form. So you do not need to make any changes in the current version, and it can be accepted instantly. And accept after minor revision, it means that it needs some minor revision on the current version. Normally, it's just some small problem that can be solved in a short period of time. But if there are some major problems like lack of experiments or lack of some important information, there will be a reject and encourage resubmission until your paper is fully advanced to the required standard. And the last one, which is the most unlucky one, is reject and decline resubmission. It means that there are serious problems in the paper, so it will be rejected. And our academic editors will make the decisions based on these several aspects, not only all the review reports, but also the responses from the from the authors as well, and also novelty, significance of content, quality of presentation, scientific soundness, interest to readers, and the language, ethical issues, and the overall merit. So this is the production process, which is after the paper is accepted, and all of this will be done by our in-house editors, as I just mentioned, like the copy editing, English editing by the English editing team, and the proofreading process shall be done by the joint effort between the editors and also the authors as well, because they need to confirm some problems in the proofreading process. And so after introducing all the process, when the paper has been from the submission to its publication, so what the editors can do, it is actually not only what I just mentioned before, like processing the manuscript. There are a lot of things you can do in your career path as an editor in MDPI. Well, this is the career path of myself in MDPI, starting from 2020 or 2021 in May. And I started my position as an assistant editor who was in charge of like processing the manuscripts, like I just mentioned, what an in-house editor is expected to do. And then you will have the chance to be promoted as section managing editor, who will be in charge of communicating with your guest editors and the editorial board members to do the call for papers and the promotions for the published papers, and also some marketing promotional work. For example, attending the conferences on behalf of the journal, and also you will have some like the author trainings offline, and also to meet with your scholars, to meet with your guest editors, editors-in-chief, and so on. And for every journal, there will be several sections. For example, for our journal coatings, there are several sections, for example, bioactive coatings and coatings for energy storage and conversion, and thin films, and so on. So for these different kind of sections, we will have a chief section managing editor. That was what I did since 2022. And starting from 2023, I got in charge of manuscript quality control. This role means that I need to control the quality of not only the papers, but also the peer reviewers' reports that received. So before every paper is sent for revision, the manuscript quality control editor will double check the reports which received. And another kind of career path we can provide is the administrative management, which is what I started from 2023 as a group leader who is in charge of managing the local group. And starting from 2024, I got in charge of the deputy section leader's role. So starting from then, I got in charge of managing the whole section of the overseas colleagues, including 5 offices in Poland, Romania, Serbia, and Spain and the UK. So we also have some colleagues over there, and we will go to the offices to visit them and work with them as well. So here is my career path from internal to external, from local team to the global team. And here I listed some paper promotion after the publishing of the papers online. So generally we will have some cover story of the issue cover paper selected for a volume or an issue. And also we will post our online conferences or the other conference activities or the external activities as well on our official accounts on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram and so on. So also there will be a promotional editor behind all of these promotions to do all the stuff. And like for us language students, you will be interested in writing the cover story of an issue cover paper, and also the announcement of some interesting activities to the other readers of the journal. So all of this will be done by our editorial office, not only process the papers, but also do something that is more interesting. And here, we also have the chance to join some international academic exchanging activities. For example, here are two photos where I joined the National Symposium on Materials Coating Science in Lanzhou, and the other one is an international conference on neutron in heritage science. And we also got the chance to meet some top experts in the field and to collect some useful information and also suggestions for the journal, which is also very interesting and a very memorable experience for me. And also we have some activities overseas with our colleagues from other countries, from other regions as well. And this is when our journal relationship specialist from Serbia visited Shanghai, and together with her, we visited the Shanghai Jiao Tong University and had the editorial board, the member visitation. And also we visited our editor-in-chief in Poland, and also the key laboratory of Polish Academy of Sciences. Well, sometimes maybe as language students, we are not so familiar with what they are doing, what they are doing, what the research they are doing. But actually, as a language student, we will be a good bridge between the editorial office and the scholars, because generally we have a better skill of communication and also expressing the journal's plans and also our targets to the scholars. So that is our biggest advantage comparing with the students of other departments. And here we also have the author training meeting, and actually we also had an author training meeting in PolyU yesterday, which was also very successful, and the students there are interested in both submitting a paper to MDPI, but also being an editor of MDPI. And here we also have editorial roundtable discussion in Romania and Serbia to discuss about the further development. And here I included some photos I took with the global team I just mentioned. Here in this one, I visited Cluj in Romania, and here we were having lunch with our team members, and also in Krakow, in Belgrade, in Serbia, and that one is in Bucharest, Romania. So we have two offices in Romania. One is in Bucharest, the other is in Cluj, and also in Serbia there are two offices as well. So we will have the chance to experience different culture, different environment, which is very great memory for me. And so in this page, I just included all the offices of MDPI till now. And in this year, we have the new offices in Chengdu and Hong Kong. And actually, in China, there are a lot of offices, not only in Beijing, but also in Wuhan, Tianjin, Nanjing, Dalian, and the other cities. So at the last, I would like to add an advertisement of our journal and also the section that we are hiring some assistant editors to take in charge of communication with the scholars and to process the manuscripts according to the procedure I just showed you. And these are the requirements and also job description here, so you can have a look at it if you're interested in it. And now we are hiring people for Beijing, Wuhan, Tianjin, Nanjing, Dalian, and Chengdu. So you can select where would you prefer, and feel free to contact me. And apart from assistant editor, we are also hiring some publishing specialists. So for this job, this position, we recommend a PhD student to apply for it, because this position requires you to have some stats analysis and get more involved with the external promotion work, like communicating and cooperation with the institute, and to have some meetings and conferences to attend. So this one is especially for PhDs. And also we have other positions for your reference, like the topic assistant, and also marketing assistant, conference assistant, conference specialist, and so on. So all of them belong to different departments and take in charge of different kinds of work. So this is the picture of our Hong Kong office, which is newly established this year. So if you're interested in working here in Hong Kong, you can also feel free to contact our office director here. And this is the email of our Hong Kong office director. So if you are interested in the positions in mainland China, you can feel free to contact me, Tonia, and here is the contact for the Hong Kong office. So these are all for my sharing today. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Tonia, for that presentation. I think there's a lot of really useful information in there for our students. Maybe just like one or two questions. I'd just like to start off by asking specifically if you have any experience on the HR side of things, and if any of our students, because you ended your talk talking about opportunities available at the moment, do you have any tips for students who wish to apply in terms of A, their resume, so what to do with your resume, and then B, if they get an interview, how to promote yourself better in that situation?
Actually, starting from when I became the group leader and the deputy section leader, I got in charge of interviewing the candidates of the assistant editor's role. And I would recommend that in your resume, it is better that you highlight your advantages in like some bullet points at the very beginning of your CV. And it is also suggested that you have some specific points related to the assistant editor's role. Not only assistant editor's role, but every role you would like to apply for. Better to add something related to this job, this description of the job, so it will be more appealing for the interviewer to review your resume.
And what about like an actual in-person interview?
Yeah. And about this part, I think when you apply for a certain position, it would be better if you read the job description carefully and to know about what the company is running about, and what do you think is your most outstanding advantage for this position. So that is the most important thing. And also, I would recommend that you can have a short summary of your educational background in advance, so that you can introduce yourself more freely to the interviewer. And also, as an assistant editor, it requires some ability of understanding something very quickly. So the interviewer will sometimes ask you some questions about, for example, how you introduce your research project to your grandma. Something like this. So it would be better if you can think of a good answer to the problems in a short time. So
that sounds really difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any more questions?
Hi, Tonia. Thank you very much for a very informative and engaging presentation, and for sharing a lot of photos with us as well. It's amazing to see such a fantastic career path, from one of our alumni. Yeah, so I have a few questions. Maybe I'm sorry if I missed this at the beginning, but how did you enter into this, field of academic publishing after finishing your MA in translation and interpreting?
Okay, thank you very much. It's a very good question because at the beginning when I was looking for a new job, I targeted as editor and as a priority. So I looked for several publishers if they are hiring some new people to join the editorial team. And it was very lucky that NDPI is hiring someone for the editorial team, and the job description seemed very interesting to me. So that is why I applied for this job. And indeed, it was interesting as I expected.
So you set your mind to find a job in academic publishing. So what made you interested in academic publishing?
Because actually I worked as a research assistant before. So I think dealing with documents and also dealing with different people will be a very interesting thing. And also in terms of the topic of the journals, actually the journal I am working in, coatings, is not so familiar to me as I'm a language student. But when I entered the journal, I found that it is very interesting to discover a totally different world and a scientific world, and to learn something that is new to me. So being an editor will be like something more than you expected.
I wonder if your background in translation also helped you, enter this new field of, coating.
Yeah.
Was it a steep learning curve at the beginning? And
Yeah, it was a little bit difficult at the very beginning because I don't have the educational background related to materials. But it was very good that MDPI will provide every newcomer with a tutor to teach you how to process the papers and how to know about what the paper is talking about. And generally, if you are a language student, they will assign somebody who majored in materials to teach you some basic knowledge about material science. And if you are somebody majored in material science, they will probably assign somebody who has a language background to help you improve your English skills and so on. So it's very useful for me.
So now you can read academic papers in coating, without any
mostly, but at least I can know what it is talking about and what is the most heated topics in the material science field.
Yeah, I want to ask another question about the publication cycle. It seems like the period for peer review and also the editorial decisions are all quite quick. Yeah. So how does your organization compare with other publishers? And has the publisher taken any efforts to, for example, to speed up the publication cycle, especially considering how fast the technology is evolving?
That is also a very good question because we have a global team, so all of our in-house editors are from all over the world. So if like, for example, the editors in China, they are off work, and the editors in Europe, they just started their work, and they will follow up on the papers. And also we have different like editorial functional teams. For example, the quality control team. If the in-house editors themselves cannot process the paper timely, the quality control team or the other team members will help them to follow up on the process. So it will be very quick. And about the peer review process, we also have a reviewer board and also volunteer reviewer board. So some of the reviewers who have very close relationship with us will volunteer to help us review the papers. And they are really experienced peer reviewers and can provide their comments in a short time. And also for the reviewers, we have the reviewer vouchers for them to use in their future publications. So some of the reviewers will also use this advantage to gather some discounts for themselves for their further publications.
Do you have any journals in translation studies or linguistics?
Yeah, we have translation and also languages, linguistics. And, actually, we have a section named social science, and all of these journals are included in that section.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no more questions, then I think we can call it there. I would just like to, again, impress upon students who might be listening that I think that Tonia Young's career path is an excellent model of using skills learned in the MA in translation in the workplace without being directly linked to translation. Yeah. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining.